Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to Animal Advocates Radio Voices Carry for Animals, number 509 shows this evening. And I wanted to wish everyone out there a very happy New Year 2026, that it's better than any other year out there. And together we can all make it happen. We got to just at least try. And I hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you was celebrating and New Year's. And it was a wonderful time with your family and friends because it means so much. And I just want to go over a couple of things here before we do get started here. My name is Debbie Dahmer, aka Mama Bear. And Mama Bear is on the air because she really does care. So I want to welcome all you in this show this evening. If you're listening in from the web, Deb is on the web, okay? And if you're listening on for the web, you could join us in the chat room here. It's us chat room is awesome. You could share the show from in there, and you could interact with other listeners. You could speak to the guest right from your phone, your laptop, your tablet, or your iPad. And just go to you want to go to Google Play or the App Store and download Podbean podcast app and player. And then what you're going to do is search for Voices Carry for Animals podcast and press follow, and you're in. Okay, and it is awesome. And every time there is a new episode that's going to start up, it will alert you in on your phone, your laptop, tablet that a show is starting up. And then all you have to do is click to join. This is modern technology, something else, and it's great. So, and also after the show this evening, it will get, I will download it and then edit it and publish it. And it's going to two YouTube channels where you can listen to, and also 28 websites, iSpotify, iHeartRadio, Podserve.fm, player.fm. Also, I mean, this list is huge, and it's really growing. The voices carry for animals, and it's all because of all of you out there that's making it a total success. All the great former guests, and a big thank you to all of you for all the great shows in 2025 and before, and all the great callers making it happen. I do my best, but I can't do it alone. So it does take teamwork all the way. And so when we work together, we are better together than apart. So we have to do our best in getting them changes made because the animals cannot do it themselves. They don't have a voice, and they're helpless and defenseless and voiceless. And we have to be their voice and get the changes made. But what I'm going to do, everyone, I hope you enjoy the show. Keep pressing like in this chat room, and it builds my podcast up. I'm on level two, and then I'm going to move up. If they keep liking the shows, you can make comments. And everybody in the chat room, hello, everyone. So glad to see you all in here. And Michelle, well, there's another animal warrior sister, Mama Cat. And oh my goodness, this is great. I mean, having all you on and coming in. And I hope you all enjoy the show. If you are out there, like I said, on the web, come join us in this chat room because it's coming live stream from Podbean, okay? Podcast app and player. And it's also on the web. But I'm going to get started here. This is going to be another great show. And I seen Sandra Klinger is came in. All right, Sandra. We we and Kirsten and Marilyn. Okay, we're missing Courtney. Where's she at? I'm gonna find her. I better look on my phone because we I was trying to get her in here, or talking to her yesterday. But I want to all thank you for a wonderful 2025. all these shows. I mean, this podcast is going on 12 years in June and counting. Okay. And Barbara Levette is in here. All right, Barbara, this is great. All of them coming in. And if you're listening, all the links out there on all promos on Facebook and X and LinkedIn, just press that link and you can listen right from the web. Okay. And but I want to go over and well, my first guest is going to be we're going to and visit my voices carry for animals.com, and I after the show is published this evening, you can go and listen on that, and then you can subscribe free because this show is a promo for the main event vigil for Saturday, January the 10th. Okay, so and that's 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Mountain, and 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific. And listen in worldwide, everyone. And go to Virgil for Elephants Facebook page. And I want to thank all of them for, all this ongoing. It's such an honor to be a part of this because these elephants in captivity is not right. It's not no life form, and they have lost their lives in 2025. But I'm going to bring Kirsten in. Kirsten, you're live and on the air. How are you? Can you hear me?
I'm good, Debbie. Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You sound good. The audio is going
Oh,
good.
okay, good. Just
Yep.
so you know, for some reason it's going in and out for me. I can't always hear you. So
Okay.
if I don't respond, it's because I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong. But I can
Okay.
hear you right now. So anyways, thank you. Thank you, Debbie.
Hey, you're so truly welcome. It's such an honor because it's such a heartfelt and meaningful tribute. And every year, this is what the eighth anniversary already, and that's just great. And
Yeah,
keep going because
yeah, yeah.
yes,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
I
so
mean it
much for
takes
having us and having us
teamwork.
year after year to talk about the vigil. And we really honor your dedication to the elephants and all the animals that you speak for. So thank you, Debbie.
Hey, you're so
And as you
welcome.
said, this is our eighth annual vigil for elephants.
Yes, isn't that wonderful? I mean,
Team,
8 years, everyone. And counting. And it takes teamwork. And this super team that's going on here is a great team out there. I mean, we got Kirsten Cluster of Elephant Guardians of Los Angeles, and that's who's speaking right now. Sandra Klinger of the Elephant Advocacy Project. Marilyn Glazer of Lucy Edmonton Advocates Project, and Courtney Scott of Free the Oregon Zoo Elephants in the Defense of Animals. What a super team. And then we got the ones that couldn't make it tonight. And a big shout out to all of you. Barbara Levette of Save Nosy Now, Sam Winkip of Lucy Edmonton Advocates Project, Laura Wilson of Edmonton Advocates Project, and we also got Wendy. Was how he's Marcus Minowitz, and that is North American Friends of the Elephants Haven. And I mean, look at this team! Isn't this wonderful, Kirsten? This is great.
Thank
Yes.
thank you, Debbie. Yeah, we have a team that works all year. We research and gather the information on the elephants who pass in captivity around the world throughout the year. We write the stories for each elephant so that we can post them in the time leading up to the actual vigil. And we really are, trying to spread awareness of what's happening with these elephants. And one thing we all know, Debbie, is these are just the elephants that we learn about, the elephants that we know of. um, there are countless elephants that are being held in captive situations. There are working elephants, there are street begging elephants, there are elephants forced to perform in festivals, in all types of private tourist attractions that we don't know about. We don't know their names, we don't know their stories, but we honor them as well. We honor all of these elephants. They all deserve to live their own wild and free life. That's
Yes, they
something we like
do.
to remind people that and I'm going to talk about the numbers that we're honoring this year, but there's really so many more, and we just
Yes.
really want people to know that.
Oh yeah, they should know and not be. Silence is not the solution. Okay, to the problems it's happening each and every day. We have to speak out, and we have to know what goes on behind the closed doors, behind the scenes. How many deaths are involved? How much abuse and neglect's going involved? It's our right to know. Because we are their voices. Yep.
Right. Thank you. And we really want to tell these stories mattered. These were individuals with the right to a wild and free life that was stolen from them. And we also remember those who died after release to sanctuary. And we're so grateful they had that time to heal and live a more natural life, but they still are dying from the impacts of those years in zoos or circuses or whatever type of captivity they were held in. So for 2025, we are remembering 46 elephants who died in zoos and circuses and other tourist attractions around the world. 14 who
Uh,
died
uh,
after release to sanctuary. And for the years that we've been holding this vigil, we have honored at least 328 elephants who died in tourist venues and at least 88 who passed away in sanctuary. So, and again, like I said, these are just the ones we know of. So there are so many individuals who are suffering these lives spent in captivity when they should have been living as wild elephants in their natural ecosystems. And our mission is really to shed light of the impacts of what happens to them, as you were saying, Debbie, to tell their stories, to let people know what's going on behind the scenes, what the truth is behind this facade of zoos and circuses and entertainment, that these are individuals, and this life of confinement impacts their minds and their bodies and their spirits. And you can see that in the zoocotic behavior that they display, in that swaying and bobbing. They're communicating their anguish and their unrelenting pain and stress and boredom and their trauma. And there's recent research out that actually shows that captivity is causing actual brain damage in elephants. They're the largest land mammal on Earth. They're genetically wired to travel vast distances through challenging and dynamic ecosystems within socially sophisticated and related herds. And all of this is denied to them when they're when they're taken from their homes and their families and put in these captive environments for human amusement and profit. So thank you, Debbie, really, for giving us this platform to share these stories.
yeah, it's just so sad and heartbreaking. It's no life form. I mean, I really enjoy looking at the wild animals in the wild with their families. Socializing, not in a zoo or a circus where they don't have no life. It's sickening. You look at it
Right.
and you say, follow the money trail, because evidently they don't care how these animals feel and what the how much pain and abuse is going through. Making them, they don't have no choice in the matter. They are forced into it, and it's prison for them.
Exactly.
And it's
Exactly.
wrong. And everyone, we have to do something. This has been going on for so long. I mean, we're going back to the 20th century going on.
Right.
So
S-
and
Um,
then
so
yeah, go
this
ahead.
year, we decided we would focus on how horrific the life in captivity is for bull elephants. So I'm going to turn this over now to Sandra Klinger, because she's going to share some stories about what it's like for bull elephants who are forced to live
Oh yeah.
this life of
Yeah, and Sandra, can you there's at the bottom of your screen, your phone screen, there's either a phone icon or a mic icon. Can you press that and alert me that you want to come on air? And you're more than welcome because I got with her before the show and we was trying to figure out, because this is a new podcast. And if you're not familiar with podcasts, or apps or anything, it's not going to be that easy. You know what I mean? So I had to learn it. We all had to learn it. A newbie, I was messing up last year, left and right. I did have the show shut down. I mean, it was a nightmare. But anyway, I'm on contact with Courtney on this, the email or not email, the text. But but Sandra, if you can hear me, press there's a at the bottom of the screen or the right hand side. Press that phone icon or mic icon and alert me you want to come on air, okay? And because it comes through fast, and then okay, here we go. Wait, it just okay. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, Sandra, can you hear me? You're live and on the air. Hello?
Hello,
Yes, it's
it's
Sandra.
Sandra. Hi, Debbie.
You did it.
Woo!
You did it. We was like 5 minutes before the show starts and we
Yeah,
did it.
we were scrabbling around, but we got it.
That was a good one.
Persistence. Yeah,
I know we are relentless. We're going to do it one way or another.
that's right.
Yep.
Well, thank you again, Debbie, for having us on to talk about the vigil. And as Kirsten said, this year we decided, in past vigils, we focused on the impacts to the mother elephants that are bred in captivity and captive breeding. We focused on the high rate of mortality of captive bred babies in another vigil. And this year we decided to focus on the bull elephants. Bull elephants often don't get very much attention. And it's really sad because when we look at the conditions in which bull elephants are held in captivity, they tend to be in the worst conditions. They're usually in the smallest spaces. They are almost always in isolation. They are often chained at least part of the year. They get moved around frequently between facilities for breeding. And their need for social relationship and companionship is often discounted. And it's just wrong. We know from years and years now of research on wild living elephants, both African and Asian, bull elephants are not loners. They live very socially enriched lives. They have lifelong friendships. They travel in what's called bachelor groups. And outside of a very short period of time each year when they're in must, they are very social, both with other male elephants and also with other family groups of elephants. Unfortunately, in captivity, male elephants do not experience anything like this. They are almost always isolated. And you still will hear, actually, when you go to some of these captive facilities, you will still hear the misinformation that, oh, bull elephants are loners. They are not. Isolation is no less damaging for bull elephants than it is for female elephants. But they don't get given any consideration. Even when you look at the facilities that at the organizations that oversee zoos, for example, like in the North America, it's the AZA. They have requirements, although I use that term loosely. They have recommendations. Let's put it that way. They have recommendations that female elephants be kept in groups of no less than 3, and some sort of recognition of their need for a social environment and how important it is for elephants to have these sort of companionships. But there are no such recommendations for bull elephants. They don't even consider that they have a need for social interaction. And it is no less than female elephants. So it's one way that they're just kind of discounted. They're just used as, they're needed for breeding, and that's why they have them. And in some instances, it's because they're pretty spectacular to look at with their tusks. So it's really kind of been a sad situation. We see quite a few. This year we had quite a few bull elephants that actually passed away. And we decided to look at two examples of kind of a life that bull elephants experience in captivity. And this is two that we honored in this year's vigil, kind of exemplify that. One is an African elephant named Shankar. He was born in Zimbabwe. He was wild born, was taken from his family, as most captive elephants, at least the majority of captive elephants were, and was given as a gift from Zimbabwe to India to live in a zoo. He had a companion for a period of time while he was still younger. But then for the last 20 years of his life, he lived alone. He lived in pretty stark conditions. He spent about 17 hours a day chained by his legs. He had wounds and scars from straining against those chains. As you can imagine, the elephants who are chained often will pull to the very extent of the chain as far as it will go, and usually engaging in stereotypic behavior. They just engage in this, and it ultimately can do them some physical harm as well. This drew international outrage, actually, in Shankar's case. It was seen, and it was actually a young advocate had taken up Shankar's case, had seen him in captivity, and was so horrified by what she saw, she started doing attention getting for his cause and speaking out on his behalf and taking videos of him stereotyping and the conditions he was held in. And it did get international outrage and a lot of pushback. In fact, the zoo lost its accreditation in India, but it wasn't enough to save Shankar. Unfortunately, at only 29 years old, he died, and his death ended up being attributed to being exposed to a rat-borne virus that attacks the brain and heart. And it was, unsanitary conditions and being exposed to the droppings of infected rats that ended up taking his life. And 29 is just barely getting into the prime of life for a bull elephant. Really, it's only about 30 years of age that they're considered fully mature adults. So that was Shankar, and we thought that exemplified some of the hardships that bull elephants endure, including, it's unimaginable to think about being chained 17 hours a day where you cannot move properly. You can't engage in normal postural adjustments. You can't engage in any sort of self-maintenance behavior. It must be so incredibly frustrating. And the videos that emerge of Shankar, you see him just stereotyping all the time, stereotyping and pacing. He'd back up and he'd walk back forward, back up and walk back forward. And it makes you wonder how much of that is as a result of being on the extent of a chain. You can only go this far and then you go back, and you can go this far and then you go back. And so that was one example. One of the other elephants we highlighted was an elephant named Tammy. Tammy was a male Asian elephant. He was also wild born, also taken from his family. But in Tammy's case, he was sold to a zoo in Mexico. He was sold to the circus in Mexico as a young elephant, probably a year or two old. And of course, as all elephants that are forced to perform or ride or be handled by bullhook, he had to go through an abusive physical negative reinforcement training. I use the term training loosely. It's just abuse, also called a crush, where the elephant is confined and often abused until they stop struggling against their restraints and ultimately give in and will do what they're told to do. This starts when they're very small, when they're babies. So it's easier to physically dominate them. But the abuse and the threats of abuse continue throughout their lives if they're going to be free contact handled. In Tammy's case, he spent about 14 years in a traveling circus. A lot of the South American countries have subsequently banned the use of elephants in traveling circuses, so that's fantastic that they have done that. But in Tammy's case, he was sold from the circus into a zoo called the Mendoza Zoo in Argentina. And the conditions in which Tammy was forced to live, Tammy and there were 3 other elephants there, 2 other Asian elephants and 1 African elephant, are about the worst I've seen. Tammy and all of his other elephants Tammy lived in a pit below the ground, below ground level. They dug a hole in the ground and hardened it with concrete, and that's where he lived. He could not see sunrise or sunset. Everything was above him. And it was hard and small. He had a little bit lower dugout area that would fill with water, so he could lay in kind of a puddle some of the time. But it was it was actually described as some of the most sensory deprived environment for an elephant imaginable. There is concrete walls on all sides. Tammy lived there in that environment for 4 decades. He was used to breed. He bred with their Asian elephant, I think twice. Only 1 baby survived. Her name is Gijamina, and she is currently living at the elephant sanctuary, at the Global Sanctuary for Elephants in Brazil. So she has gotten out. Her mother had also been released to sanctuary, and the other elephant at that facility had been released to the same sanctuary. There was hope for Tammy. There was finally hope for Tammy. He was also scheduled to be released to sanctuary. But because Tammy was a bull elephant, his handlers had always been afraid of him. And they only had access to him from up on a wall looking down at him. So he was also fearful and resentful. So he didn't have much handling or training and had no positive reinforcement training. And so the sanctuary staff had been sending people down to work with him. And he was doing so well in positive reinforcement training. They said for the first time in all the years they worked with him, and they had been working to get him released to sanctuary for years, they heard him rumble for the first time after years of working with him, just because of positive reinforcement training. So everyone was so hopeful that he would have enough time to get the training he needed to be able to be transported. But unfortunately, as many elephants who live long lives in captivity in deprived conditions, his body just couldn't wait any longer, and he passed away. And it's just hard, when one is so close to getting out, to knowing that he died in the same pit that imprisoned him for 40 years. He never got out. But his daughter did, and she's living a wonderful life in the sanctuary. And so, and Tammy's not alone. I mean, other captive elephants pass away right before, when they're on the cusp of sanctuary. And one of the main reasons we do this vigil every year is to try to keep opening people's eyes and their hearts to understanding what these elephants go through in captivity, so that more don't have the same fate as Tammy, and more get the opportunities to enjoy life in a more natural environment with autonomy and respect and sanctuary. So that's our hope for all of the elephants still out there waiting, is that they get the chance to get out of the confinement they're in now and get into a more healthy environment. And we know that even for bull elephants, there's a much better way. And we are seeing that this year at the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee. Several bull elephants have been released to that sanctuary. And this year, for example, Artie and Osh, two African elephants, bull elephants, released from different zoos, spent some time together, getting to know each other across the safety barrier, across the fence. And then after about a year of them doing that, this year, not too long ago, the sanctuary has allowed them to share the same space, meaning they are in the same habitat area together. And that's groundbreaking. That's such a huge improvement for bulls and how they're being housed in captivity. And we certainly hope to see a lot more of that. The other thing that Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee has done is allowed the bull elephants to interact with female elephants across the safety barrier, so there's no opportunity for breeding. But they would normally have those kinds of social interactions in the wild. They would interact with other female elephants. And one of the things that I guess it touched me, having worked with Save Nosy Now and on Nosy's release to Sanctuary, was that Artie, who was a jumbo lair baby, just like Nosy was, and was brought from Zimbabwe to Florida on a big jumbo jet with 68 other baby elephants, was able to reconnect. Artie and Nosy were able to reconnect and greet each other over the fence. Then they hadn't seen each other since they were babies, but they had spent about 2 years together in Florida. And it was so cute watching them interact over the fence with Artie, a massive bull, towering over little Nosy, and them doing normal African things like sparring and trunk wrestling, and then gentle caresses. And at one point, there's a video, so anybody who wants to go watch should go watch it, because it is the cutest thing. Artie got down on his knees, so he was eye level with Nosy instead of towering over her. And then after he did that, Nosy got down on her knees, imitating him. They were being so cute together. So that shows that there is so much social interaction these bulls need and they deserve. And there are ways that it can be done that is both good for them physically and mentally. And so we certainly hope to see more efforts put into how bull elephants are cared for, and draw attention to the conditions that most of them are living in now that is not meeting their needs.
It is so sad and heartbreaking what's going on. They don't deserve this at all. You know,
No,
it's just so. I mean, animal rights are supposed to be granted, not ignored and swept under the carpet. Animal cruelty is animal cruelty. It's a crime. And these animals are getting so mistreated and unfair, and they're lonely and they're bored. How would you like to be in your house every day? Not get out nowhere, maybe out in the yard, and not go nowhere. Wouldn't that drive you? I mean, it would. You love your home, but you don't want to be a prisoner of your home. You want to get out there, mingle, go with families and friends, do things. And these animals in the wild, they deserve freedom, all of them. They need
yep,
to get out of these zoos and circuses and let them live. They only live once. I mean, just like humans, and in their lifespan, and they're miserable. Look at Lucy in Edmonton Valley
that's right.
Zoo. I mean, I've had many shows for her, and I will continue again with Marianne, and it just so it's just this greed, this big money trail. They don't care about Lucy. All they care about is cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And it's not necessary for them to be in these zoos and circuses. It's not. It's inhumane to me.
Well,
It's
for
whoa.
sure. And one
Yes.
of the things that what we hear all the time, every time you see a zoo make an announcement about a baby elephant that's been born, and unfortunately we know the vast majority of those will not survive past age 8. But they claim they are doing this, they're holding elephants in captivity, and that they are breeding them to promote conservation of the species. That is a lie. None of those elephants will ever be released to the wild. This does absolutely nothing to for the wild elephant populations survival, and holding them in captivity does nothing for wild elephants population survival. You need to be protecting habitat, and you need to be protecting wild populations for that population to survive. So this is just a story that sounds really good to the public, but when you look at it on its face, you'll understand there is no factual basis to it, because they are breeding elephants to keep elephants in captivity. They want to fill their zoo exhibits. That's why they're breeding elephants. Because, for example, certainly with African elephants, it was determined that there was no conservation value to take elephants from the wild to put in zoos. So they stopped that. So now they're trying to, we're having attrition with a lot of elephants dying off in captivity. And so they're trying to replace them through captive breeding. And it is taking a massive toll on the female elephants that are there, and the mothers that keep getting rebred, that have to go through the grief process, and the suffering of the babies who ultimately end up dying at a very young age. I mean, when you are losing 65 to 85% of every captive born Asian elephant, that's ridiculous kind of numbers for them to keep doing this, to keep subjecting elephants to this sort of trauma and grief for their profit is really the end of it. It's just to boost their profits because baby elephants sell more tickets. So that's what, it gets frustrating to hear these same stories be put out there again and again. And unfortunately, too many of the media outlets will take whatever press release the zoo puts out and just print it. They don't ask any questions. They don't say, well, wait a minute, didn't you just have a baby die, last year? They don't ask those questions. And so we as advocates have to push back with facts. Sorry, and make sure the public hears the truth of what's going on with elephants. And this is from published peer-reviewed scientific research. That's where this information comes from. It's not, it's out there. The zoos know this information. They know what they're saying is not true, but they're saying it anyway because it meets their needs for the zoo's public relations. Sorry, I'm having a cough. If somebody else wants to pick up.
And like you said, Sandra, everyone loves baby elephants. And, so all of the babies that are being born at zoos around the world, that is what sells tickets, so, and it's what the public wants. I think, is Courtney there?
Yes, I got her in. Hey, we got
Great.
a big standing ovation. She did make it.
That's great. I think we're going to talk a little bit, about what goes on with breeding within zoos. She was going to talk a little bit, about that, Courtney Scott.
Okay. Courtney, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. You made it. This is great. All of you, the super team out there. And I'm putting, logos of your groups in there, and everybody that's listening in the chat room. check out their Facebook pages or wherever they're at on social media. And please visit Vigil4Elephants on Facebook page, like it, and that's where they'll be going live on Saturday. And I'll be listening too, ladies. I will be there and help you to promote it. Okay, on Friday and Saturday. How's that? That's
Thank
teamwork. I
you.
believe in teamwork all the way. This is not the only thing the show I'm promoting. I'm help promoting yours also on Facebook and X and LinkedIn. So I'll be there listening in and everything. I know it's going to be another great show. Yeah, and Marilyn, you welcome aboard. This is so wonderful. From yes, I
Thank
love
you.
this.
I'll
I
jump in, after maybe Courtney um, says her piece, and then I have three or four stories to share also about elephants who perished last year.
Okay,
okay.
do you need me to click on anything, Debbie?
No, you are live and on the air. You go right ahead,
Okay.
Courtney. Welcome, all of you. Welcome back to this show, podcast. I mean, this podcast, this new podcast, has really exploded. So after this show gets downloaded, edited, and published, I'm going to put the links in there, to your Facebook page and on YouTube. Everyone, check out YouTube, Vigil4Elephants on YouTube, and we're going to post. Also the video of the photos for 2025, the Vigil photos on there, a link. So I'm gonna after the show, I'll be getting it out there. Once it is published on your phones, iPads, laptops, it will alert you a notification that Voices Carry for Animals podcast has been published. Okay, and
Thank
then
you.
the ones you got posted on your groups and pages, they will churn over to, and once I get it published, it'll churn over to where they could just click on it and they can hear the archive show on demand episode. How's that? This is
That's
wonderful.
great.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Hey, you're so welcome. But go ahead, Courtney. You
Oh,
are,
okay. Yeah, I'm just going to pick up from the last statement, I think, from Sandra about breeding. That is one of the most cruel things that zoos do is breed elephants. Because first of all, twice as many die than die in the wild, which is pretty shocking when you think about in the wild, they're subjected to poaching, to hunting, to human elephant conflicts. And in the zoo, they're supposed to be safe, right?
yep.
But unfortunately, they die even more than they do in the wild. And it's because of captivity. So it's really something that, we as in defense of animals, I work for In Defense of Animals, is to stop that. That is our one of my main focuses is to end breeding. And I think we have to really tackle it from the root cause, which is the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, which promotes their species protection plan. That's what they call it, which all it is an elephant killing plan. So that is the guise they use to sell it to the public, that is based on some kind of species protection. And it could be nothing further from the truth. So the fact that elephants live in zoos at all is a tragedy. But the fact that they also breed them, knowing that many of them will die, is that's kind of like a crime. It seems to me, to know that you're continuing to breed, knowing that the elephants are going to die. But anyway, so that is the main thing I want to say about breeding is it really needs to stop, because the only thing that's going to happen, unlike what the zoos say, is they're just going to grow up and live in a zoo and develop all the zoonotic diseases that elephants have. And living a long life is no blessing. They just get chronic arthritis, joint disease, foot disease is a very prevalent killer of elephants in zoos. And they literally live no life at all. They are just like, as a former zoo veterinarian called them, jumbo ghosts. They literally are the walking dead if you watch them in zoos.
So that is just a terrible tragedy. And I'll just mention one elephant as an example. Her name was Indu. She died at 60 years old, another one of the elephants that suffered all of the tragedies of life in a zoo. And one of them was she had 6 babies. All of her babies died. 4 of them died either as stillborns or at birth. One of them died at 1 year old, and one of them died at 3 years old. And, you know, what zoos never talk about when elephants die is what that does to the mother. They talk about how the staff suffers from seeing an elephant die, but what I've seen myself is how much the mothers grieve. Their elephants are very much like humans. So when you lose a child, you know, you really lose a part of your soul. And so I think that is another tragedy that is not really promoted or discussed or made public. And then the last thing I just want to mention is In Defense of Animals is putting out the 10 worst zoos for elephants. And the 2025 list will be live, published on this coming Tuesday, January 13th. And every year we put out a list of the worst elephants for zoos, the worst zoos for elephants. And they're all bad. I just want to say that they're all bad. But we just try to find out, you know, which ones are a little bit worse so we can call attention to the terrible situation with captivity. And the one thing I also want to mention when you were saying that, you know, Debbie, how anybody would want to get out of their home and explore. I like to point out that, you know, even a little dog in a yard, which is basically what elephants have at a zoo, is the size of a backyard. They want to get out and walk and go somewhere. So if people could just relate to their own dog and understand how keeping someone trapped in an acre yard or a 2-acre yard for life is really, you know, just, it's like being a prisoner. And we've just incarcerated these animals for far too long, and it's time for it to stop.
Yes, it is. We have to keep fighting and not give up. You know, that's the thing right there. Be relentless, optimistic, and proactive, and not give up, and let your voices heard, everyone, because we are all better together than apart, and it takes teamwork all the way. You know, and then let's help these innocent animals that are totally defenseless and helpless and voiceless. We have to get them to freedom, and they also well deserve. You know, and
Exactly.
yeah,
And
and because it's been going on way too long, enough is enough. And I wanted to bring up Barbara Levette. Look how long of a fight she had with Nosy, and now Nosy since 2019 has been in the Tennessee sanctuary and happy. I mean the pictures and the videos, and we had many shows together, and I can't thank her enough for not giving up on her own law up in New Jersey, Nosy's law, you know,
Yep.
and so she did not give up. And thank you, Barbara Levette. She is in the chat room, and I hope you come on air because that's where you got to be. And we want to see Lucy get you know to a sanctuary. We want to see Billy and Tina in freedom. There's just so many of them that but they deserve this freedom and live the rest of their lives happy and comfortable and peace. You know,
exactly.
that's what it takes, and
And
that's
to
yeah,
add on to you, um, Debbie, is education, and that is
yes,
another reason we do pay tribute to all of these deceased elephants, those we know about, to educate, you know, to try to tell their stories and, you know, let people understand that they had lives. And Courtney said they're so similar to humans with their emotions and their behaviors and their closeness to families. So, and with that, I would just like to mention just a very few of the female elephants who died last year. As we started out saying, this was a year to focus on and these poor bull elephants who live such, horrific lives. But there were three or four females that really jumped out at us. And one was named Jenny. And she lived at a lion safari park in Russia. And she died last year at age 56. And we don't know a lot about her. We do know that she was born in Asia in 1969 in the wild, and she became a circus elephant at a pretty early age. So from the time she was like 2 until 2021, she was involved in, circus, the circus world. And so she started deteriorating once she, went to this Russian safari park. But at one relieving factor was that she met up with another female elephant who she knew or remembered from her old circus days. So Jenny's friend is named Magda, Magda, and they were able to spend, continue their decades long friendship from their years in the circus. So Jenny started getting ill at the end, I guess the beginning of 2025. And sadly, Jenny died. Don't have any information about her death. And Magda, feeling so close to Jenny, laid on top of Jenny and tried in vain to revive her. I don't know how long, if that was several weeks or several days. And she didn't let any zoo veterinarians or any other officials come close to Jenny. And so when Magna finally realized that Jenny was gone, she moved away. And that's a story that really does tug at your heartstrings and makes us remember that they have emotional bonds. Another elephant named Ruth, she died last September at the Milwaukee County Zoo here in the States. And this elephant, she was a female elephant. She was born in 1981 at the Six Flags Wild Safari. That's the Great Adventure up in New Jersey. And so and through her lifetime, she was born in 81. She was transferred to Texas in 1983, back to Wisconsin in 1985, 1988, back to Texas, and in 2006 to Milwaukee. That in itself makes anybody's head spin for a young elephant. And granted, she died when she was 43, which still is relatively young. And to go through so many moves and lose, having to leave friends, and it's just it really is just so sad. And so when she got to the Milwaukee Zoo, she was involved in a plasma collection program. So her blood plasma was collected and banked to be given to elephants, babies who were suffering from EEHV, which is the elephant endotheliatric herpes virus. So she was involved in that program. And in 2019, the elephants that were at the Milwaukee Zoo where she was living were moved into a new elephant space, and they boasted of the size of their space. And to us, it just makes us cry. 1.6 acres. That's all that they gave to 3 African elephants. And as we know, African elephants, have evolved to move over vast spaces, over a relatively short period of time. Anyhow, one of the elephants, another elephant who lived there, knocked Ruth down last September. She was revived, and then there was another fall a couple weeks later, and she was unable to stand on her own. And the veterinary team decided that she should be euthanized. But while she was down and before euthanizing her, the zoo performed that one last blood draw to collect more plasma. So she lived her life as a prisoner of human entertainment. And sadly, she never knew the freedom to walk for miles and eat fresh browse and have extended family relationships. The next one, Lois, was age 47, and she died last October at the Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium. And this elephant, sadly, she was euthanized last October. She had been a captive elephant all of her life, and that particular zoo, that zoo is home to 8 other elephants, which kind of blew my mind away. And they only have 3 acres for 8 elephants. So Lois lived a horrific life at the Kansas City Zoo, 47 years old. We lost her. And the last female elephant I do want to mention, this one struck really a chord with me because she does remind me of Lucy, who is languishing in the Edmonton Valley Zoo. Tembo is her name, and she lived at the Cameron Park Zoo in Texas. And she was taken from Africa. She was an African elephant, and she lived for 47 years at the Cameron Park Zoo. And she has been alone because her companion Tanya died several years ago. So she has been in isolation, and she spent her days um, hugging the fence line, pushing her head against a rock wall, just totally zoochotic, movements. And that was her way of getting through each and every day. That was her only activity, which was just so sad. And Lucy, unfortunately, in Edmonton is going through that. But the zoo claims that they said, quote, "It is in Timbo's best interest for her to stay in her home among familiar surroundings and her herd of people that love and care for her." Well, as we know, that was not in her best interest. That was the worst possible life that Timbo could have had. So rest in peace, Timbo. And lastly, just want to mention, we have the Vigil team has a good friend. We have quite a few good friends around the world. And one of our friends, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing, Iche, in the Netherlands, did tell us about 3 female circus elephants in France. One of them we did recognize a couple years ago when she died. The other one just died in the past. It's been over a year, sometime in 2024. They each died in France, and as we were saying, there is the Elephant Haven European Sanctuary in France that these poor female elephants could have gone to. So we grieve for the bull elephants, and we grieve for all elephants who, are in these captive environments. And we do have to we hope not to keep having the vigil. We hope that one day there won't be a need for it, but it is a way to honor them, remember them. We light a candle for them on Saturday, and we will tell their stories and educate others. Lastly, before I throw back to Kirsten, I'll just go ahead and add, if anyone would like a booklet on all of the elephants who died that we know of in the year 2025, email me, or just email vigil4elephants@gmail.com. And that's vigil and the number 4elephants@gmail.com. And let us know you would like to have a copy of the book. And I think, Kirsten, you have some final words to close us out.
Yeah, thank you, Marilyn. Can you hear me, Debbie?
Yes, I can. You sound real good. You said the audio is real good. Go ahead.
Wonderful. Well, Debbie, again, thank you so much for having us. And
Oh, anytime. I
um,
really look forward to it, and so honored to be a part of it. You know, this
and I also
it's
just want to
special.
I want to just give a shout out to my team members who are just so wonderful. I mean, this is just such a great team to work with, and such a supportive team, and everyone just really has their heart in this. And I just really appreciate the Vigil team, and being part of this team. And we just wanted to just conclude by saying that we hold this vigil really to honor these elephants who passed. And it's also our hope that the suffering of all elephants that are still being held in these types of environments, that the suffering will be recognized before it's too late, before these elephants join this list. This really is about educating the public about what's really going on in these captive environments, and what's happening with these elephants, as we've been talking about, for the bull elephants, for the female elephants, for these relationships that are torn apart, families that are torn apart, all the issues that my team members were talking about with captive breeding. You know, the lack of space these elephants have, the types of environment where they have nothing to do, they are not able to engage in their natural behaviors, they're not able to move, they're not able to roam and browse and have their natural relationships within their related families. All of this is taken from them, all of it, and they live in these impoverished environments where it is shown, research shows, that they suffer. They suffer physically, they suffer psychologically, they suffer emotionally. They cannot be who they were born to be. Everything has been taken from them. And our hope is that this is recognized before it's too late. And while most of the elephants who are held in these conditions in North America, they can't be returned to their native homes. Of course, that's what we want for them. They should never have been taken from their homes. But the least we can do, and what we have to do, is release them to a sanctuary environment. In this type of natural environment, we've seen it. Sandra was talking about it with Osh and Artie and Nosy, and these stories that we know of these elephants who are released to sanctuary. They start to heal. They start to thrive. They can be elephants again. And that's what we want for all of them, to have this chance. And we hope that this practice of captivity will end for all wild ones. They all deserve to roam safe and free in their homelands. And as Marilyn was saying, finally, really what our hope is, that someday this vigil will no longer be necessary. But until that day comes, our candles will burn for all of those who died and all of those still suffering. And we just want to thank everyone who's joined your show, Debbie. Thank you for standing with us to remember the elephants. And thank you, Debbie, for your devotion to this.
Oh, hey, it's my pleasure always, and I will always be there with all of you. You know, whatever I can do, I believe in teamwork all the way, and the stronger we get, hey, strength in numbers. And Mama Cat always tells me that, and I said that is so true. You know, and we got to keep it up. We cannot, you know, quitters never win, and winners never quit. So we got to stay strong. You know, so we have to, you know, work together, or even on social media. It's a landing strip where all of us can come together and share, you know, for the mama bear, okay? Because the like buttons don't serve no justice, all right? So if you think that the laughing or the mad or whatever, it's not going to change anything. So keep sharing and getting out them news feeds and all social media to go viral, because that's so important. You know, we got to do, all of us could do a lot better, and we're already doing great as it is, but when we bring more in, we strengthen and we get stronger. You know, so let's fix the problems for the animals in 2026, okay? Because some of
Yes.
them so long overdue. Enough is enough. You know, they deserve, all of them deserve better. I've been doing these shows for 12, almost 12 years in June, at the end of June. And it's so sad is to hear the problem just keep coming in and not stop. and it makes it worse. When people are silent, it only makes the problems worse. You have to use your voice and take that action to see any positive results. Don't just sit there and look the other way and sweep it under the carpet. Take your anger into action. You're listening to this podcast and hearing all this great information for education, and go somewhere with it and do what you can do, because all your voices matter and all your actions. Being silent does not get us nowhere. Nowhere. Right? We have to keep it up. And just
Yes.
remember, check all their, because we got a great super team going on here, working great together, great teamwork within all of them, working together to help make a difference, and give them your support, everyone out there. It's not that difficult. I know the stuff that what I do is not only this podcast. I'm out there helping wherever I can. I have the Facebook pages I admin on, and the groups, and on X and LinkedIn, and I'm fast at it. It's not that difficult. If you need a break, take a break, and then come back stronger. I took off over a month, from December 4th from my last show, and I came back stronger. It gives you a break, and to rejuvenate and get out there, because I'm not giving up. I'm not, just like when Blog Talk Radio closed down. Doesn't mean I'm gonna shut down Voices Carry for Animals. So I had to get it in high gear, and get it together and get another podcast. And this one's better yet. I love this podcast, this Podbean podcast app and web. It's just like one door closed and a better one opened. And
Well,
now it's really getting out there. I
Well,
love it.
we appreciate you and all of your work and all the listeners. And also, a quick shout out to all of our co hosts. In the booklet, we listed all of the co hosts who support the vigil, and reach out to them, send them a message, see what you can do, see what they're involved with. If something strikes your fancy, as the expression goes. But Debbie, thank you very much for tonight, and we hope all of you will tune in to the vigil on Saturday at noon MST time. And
Yes. And
check out our Facebook page, Vigil for Elephants.
yes, go by and press like, follow, and share it. Bring more
Yeah,
in, and I'm going to do that too. Because you guys got a great page. I try to get over there as much as I can and help share. And I'll be sharing this show on another show, or post for Saturday.
great.
And all of you help us too. It could go viral, and we can really get it going up there, because our voices really, we are the elephants' voices, and we must be heard. We
Exactly.
cannot give up. And
Exactly.
yep. And thank you, Lee, for sending me that rose, Leap Edmonton, and you're so truly welcome. This is another great show. And anybody, if you want any calls, I can ask the listeners if anybody wants to speak to any one of you, any questions or concerns.
I
But
know that several of us had some time limit for tonight, but
okay,
if they would like to pose a question, maybe at the Vigil for Elephants Facebook page, that would be wonderful.
okay.
Unless there's one of us who can stay on to take a call or two.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or for the guests? There's Sandra and Marilyn and Kirsten and Courtney, and Sam. Sam's in the chat room too. Welcome aboard, Sam. And all of you keep following me, or if you are not following me now, Voices Carry for Animal podcast on the web or the app. And then you'll get alerted when my shows start up every Thursday at 7 o'clock. Click to join, and you're in the chat room, and you can speak right to the guest, or listen to the show, interact with other listeners. You could share this show from this chat room, and press like. Keep pressing that like. I wish I had the like button to be going off every like couple seconds because it builds up the show. That's probably why they won't give me one.
Well, Debbie, thank you so much again, and we hope 2026 is a good year for all humans and animals.
Yes, and then wouldn't that be? I mean, for all of us, and it gets stronger, more victories coming through, and we can all do the victory dance. I'll do the mama bear dance and everything.
Okay, we will quote you on that.
I have a picture of a mama bear dancing, and I do use it. But if
Well,
anybody
Debbie,
has
thank
any
you
quick
again.
questions, yeah, hey, you're so welcome. Sam or Barbara Levette, if you want to come on air, press that phone icon or mic icon in the lower right hand corner. And alert me you want to come on air. And I can't thank them enough for coming in because we want to get Lucy out of there. Everyone, let's get her out, okay? And so Tina and Billy, that was in the L.A. Zoo, and where they at now? They're in the what the
Tulsa.
name? What is it?
They're in the Tulsa Zoo now.
Yes, let's get them out. Let's work on it this year and get the word out. And there'll be the animals especially thank us. They can't say it, but we know when we do our part and they're living happy and in freedom. That's their thank you to us because they can't do it. We have to do it, right? We
Right.
are
Hey,
their voices.
Debbie,
Yep.
thank you so much for this show. It's really, really wonderful of you to do it. I do have to sign off, however I do that. But I
Okay.
thank you so much. It's been great to be on.
You're so welcome, and looking forward again, and individually too. Okay, I have
Sure.
Marilyn. I just had Sandra. I'm not Sandra. Kirsten on last year. I think it was a couple months ago. She did a great show. And looking forward to Courtney coming on soon. Try to get with you if you get any invitations or contact me at Voices Carry for Animals at AOL.com and request to come on air, and I'll hook you up.
We'll be in
So.
touch. You bet.
Yes, and
All right,
keep
everybody.
thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you so much. And thanks to all my team members. You guys have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, this is wonderful. What a super team going on. This is
Thank you,
another great
Debbie.
show, everyone. And thank you for all tuning in this evening. And this is the first show of 2026, and we're going to be rocking on through the year. We're just rocking the animals world, rocking the airways, okay? Because we're going to get the word out and do what we can, to help them better lives and futures. It's so very important, so. But anyway, Mama Cat, do you have anything to say? She's out there roaming somewhere, and a big shout out to her husband George Bittner. He just had surgery and had some complications, and prayers out to him. And Mama Cat, I hope keep praying for him because everything's going to be all right. And just be right. I know you're right by his side, and what's going on. But what you told me last night is it's so sad and heartbreaking. But say some prayers for George Bittner, and a speedy recovery because he is
Ah,
going through
thank
some.
you.
Hey, you're still. Can he hear me? I hope he.
Yep. He's
Hi,
laying down, but he
George.
can hear you.
Hi, George. Prayers for you, okay? And I hope you pull out of a speedy recovery. Mama Cat. And everyone. Mama Cat's going to be my guest next week. Are you going to come
I
on next week?
am.
Because I totally understand. You know, but you're going to be on next week. Mama Cat. She's been a guest several times. I always welcome my guests back. I don't want to just have them on once. I want to keep coming back because the more exposure, the better. You know, get the word out there, keep it out there in the spotlight. And Mama Cat,
Absolutely.
yeah, and she's been helping me. I call her my tag team. Isn't that a good one? Get a good laughing. And but anyway, Mama Cat, I can't wait to have you on next week. She takes care of what it was 125 colony cats. She's down to 90 because she got some adopted. All lives matter, including all the animals. You know,
Absolutely.
their lives matter too.
I
So
don't I don't force them off the street. They let me know when they're ready, and we go from there.
Yeah, see? And she even keeps them warm out there in Colorado. Yep.
Ooh, it's going to be cold tonight. We're supposed to get 15.2 inches of snow by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
What?
Yeah, that's what they said.
Oh my
Debbie,
goodness.
Debbie.
Whoa. Yes.
Hi, this is Kirsten again. Sorry to interrupt, Mama Cat. Thank you for that work you're doing, and I really hope that your partner improves quickly and his health is restored. I am going to have to go, Debbie. I have another call,
Okay.
but thank you
Bye,
so much
hon.
for having us on, and thank you everyone for standing with us to remember the elephants.
I'll be
Yes.
there Saturday.
Hey, I'll
Good
be there
night,
too.
everybody. Thank you so
Good
much.
night, and thank
Good
you
night.
all for coming on air. This is a wonderful show.
Thank you,
And
Debbie.
you, and you too, Barbara Levette. Thank you for all you do. And if you want to come there, you're or on air, you're more than welcome. But Mama Cat will be on next week at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, and 4 o'clock Pacific. Listen in worldwide, everyone. All these shows are also, they're archived on demand episodes. So once it's downloaded, you could go. If you hook up an account on either the app and download it on Google Play or the App Store, and then search "Voices Carry for Animals" podcast. They're listed on the app also. And that's something, Mama Cat, you could go look and listen to any of them on the phone or the laptop. And
Technology is great.
yep. And so I said, well, and even on the web, the Podbean web, voices carry for animals .podbean.com. Start up an account, free account, and then you could go and look at all the archive show. It's my host website. And also podserve.fm is another website I have, and that's Animal Advocates Radio. And it's just great to have all this info. And after it gets edited tonight and published, it's going to shoot out everywhere. Isn't that great? There's going to
That's
be,
great. I
it
can't wait
is,
for you to hit level 3.
I know. You think I'll hit this year or maybe
I hope
2020,
so.
2027? Maybe by 2030. Isn't that a good one?
Well, hey, Deb, I got to get going here in a minute. It's time
Okay.
for George's meds, but are you ready to do the paw?
Oh yeah, we're going to be. Yeah, go ahead. I was going to see if Aloha wanted to come on air for a minute. No, Aloha, did you want to come and speak on air?
Let her do the ending then, Deb, because I got to get going.
Okay, you get going, and hey, we hope to keep me updated on your hubby, and hope
I
everything
will.
goes better. Okay,
Has to go
because
see the doc in the morning, so we'll see what's up.
yeah, call me tomorrow. I'll call you, text me, whatever. Let me know what's going on. You know.
Okay, honey. Love ya.
Yep. I love you too, and thanks and can't wait to have you on next week. All these
I'll
great
be
guests. I
there.
love it. I love it.
All
Yes.
right, honey. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.
You too. Bye bye, and thank you for all you do. Okay.
You
And
too.
Aloha, did you want to speak on air? Go ahead and press the icon, the phone or the mic icon in the right hand corner, and come on air. And if you, because we're going to be shutting down the show, a big shout out to my mother, Marvelous Moose,
Happy
aka
New Year.
Mom, and a
Happy New
beautiful woman
Year.
inside and out. Thanks for tuning in. She's a mother, and she don't look like a moose, but she's my mother and best friend, and she's loves coming in on these shows and stuff and listening. So it's
Happy New
wonderful.
Year, Debbie.
Hey, happy New Year, you too, there, Aloha. How are you doing? How's Harry?
Oh, he's just chillaxing on the bed, napping.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
so adorable. He is
he
so
is.
adorable.
Oh, he'll
Yep,
be 10 next month.
yeah.
Yeah,
The sugar bear is approximate 10 too.
oh,
And so we gotta spend time with him, because we
yes.
never know. because well, if you think about it, they really don't get to live that long,
No,
and
yeah,
you times seven, it just goes up there. So
and
spend as much time and photos as you can because we
I
never know.
agree.
Yep.
I agree. And I know this isn't relevant to tonight's topic, but have you heard of Griffin Frenchie?
The who?
Griffin Frenchie. It's a Frenchie that's popular on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Griffin
he,
Frenchie.
yeah, Griffin.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
on YouTube.
he crossed over Rainbow Bridge. I just posted on my Facebook wall.
I'll have to check it out. You
Yeah,
know, yeah, that's sad. May he rest in peace. See, you
it was
never
very
know.
popular on
Yep.
YouTube.
Oh, so sad.
Mhm.
Because we never know where they're going to go. Even us humans, the 3Ds word hit all of us: death, deceased, and die. That's the three big words there.
Mhm.
So live every day like it's your last, because we never know. Death don't discriminate on humans
Yes.
or animals. Make the best of it, because life is so precious, and just enjoy, because that means so much. We never know what our futures bring. We never know what our pets' lives bring. It's just
Mhm.
so. But I want to thank you for all your support and everything,
And
continuous and everything. So,
and
but on
thanks for joining me
Saturday,
here.
yes, on Saturday, everyone, please visit Vigil for Elephants Facebook page, like it, and also check it out. And it'll be going live at 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Mountain Time, and 11 a.m. Pacific. Listening worldwide, and then it's going to be on YouTube. Okay, when they get it published. So please give them your support and let your voices be heard out there. Okay, because these elephants don't need that deserve. It's animal slavery, and it's terrible. It's all about the money trail, not caring about them or their lives or anything like that. 'Cause we don't need zoos and circuses. It's not necessary. Let them live in freedom. If you were them, you would want to live in freedom too. But they can't speak out. They can't let their voices be heard. They have them. We are their voices. So, but anyway, you're so welcome, and I'm going to be shutting this down. And thank you all for tuning in. It's been another great show, and I really missed it for over a month. And I'm glad I'm back, and all the listeners out there, and the awesome guests, former guests, making this show happen. 509 shows this evening and counting. So to keep sticking with me, to stand together and work together, and we're going to see positive results. We're going to see them victories come in, and then we're going to say, hey, it's worth it, because change starts with you and I. Okay, don't be silent, because being silent is not the solution at all, and the problems will just get worse. Okay, so, but I want to thank you all, and aloha. Mama Cat wanted you to do the paw in hand. Are you ready?
Ready.
Go ahead, paw in
My
hand.
friend, united we stand against all animal cruelty and neglect across the land.
All right, you did it. And tell Harry, say, hey, I just did it, Harry.
I know that.
I just did it. We'll
Just
have to
did
tell Mama Cat. I said she did really good. Right? You
yes.
think about it. And I hope everyone tunes in next week. Mama Cat will be Ray Bittner will be the guest. 7 o'clock Eastern time. So hope you all join us in, because
Looking
these
forward
these
to it.
colony cats and these street cats, they do their lives matter too. Okay, and she's out there in Colorado, and she takes care, makes sure they're all warm. 90 of them. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I know. So it's not easy, and with her doing all this, she has a huge heart. She's a huge animal lover. Yeah,
Mhm.
so, but next week, tune in at 7 o'clock Eastern, everyone. and share the show right from this chat room. And you can press like, you make comments, you can do everything. Share it on all the 28 other websites. And the PPJ Gazette is going to go out on ppjg.wordpress.com. That was Marty Oakley's old website, and I still have access to it and everything. So check that one out. So I'll be trying to get it up running and everything. So, and Podbean has all of them have all the on demand episodes after it gets published, and you can go there if you follow any of them. Apple Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podserve.fm. You should see this list. I mean, and you know what the good news is? Aloha
What's that?
is on the 2025 top podcast shows. Voices Carry for Animals podcast hit top 25. Or the top
Congratulations.
for animal welfare. And also on goodpods.com, it helped top shows for podcasts for 2025 on animal rights. And so we're going to keep going, okay? Keep that status going, right?
Yes.
And do it.
Wait, question.
Yes.
Within the 25 ranked, though, where did you list it, though? As which number? Just let me ask.
They have them. If I send you the link, and I'll have them listed. You know, and mine's in there. There's several of them there that I know I've had guests for. On here, so that's a huge plus for them.
Definitely,
I know
yes.
Carol Walker. She was just a guest last year. Hers is on there, and who else? Humane Voices, which is Humane World for Animals. So I'll have to go back and look because they have them listed where you could just press them and go right to that, your page, and it has all your shows on there where I had them transferred. But anyway, everyone, I want to thank all of you again for tuning in. Another great show this evening, and please tune in on Saturday for Vigil for Elephants, and put a little love in your heart and do your part. But thank you, everyone. And after the show gets published, you can go back and listen and share it 24/7. Get the word out there, education, awareness, how you can help out because your voices and actions really do matter. Okay, so, but thank you, Aloha. And
Thank you, Debbie.
everyone, have a nice and peaceful, relaxing weekend. Hope you all have a great, beautiful New Year 2026, blessed year, and keep the prayers coming, okay? Because in God we will always trust. All right, so keep them prayers coming, and work together and help these animals out. We are their only hope to carry on and better lives and futures. Right? We cannot give up. So,
Nope.
but anyway, everyone have a good evening. Thank you for tuning in on the Podbean podcast web and app, and hope you join us next week. Okay, because it'll be another great show. Good night, everyone.
Good
With
night.
our voices, the animals will be heard. With our actions, the animals will seek justice. Good night, everyone. Thank you. May God bless you all. Bye bye.